The movie kicks off with Steve's voice, taking us into a memory from his childhood. Back then, all he wanted was to work in the mines. He saw it as his dream, his future. But reality hit hard. When he tried to sneak in, a furious miner caught him and shouted for him to get lost. With fear and disappointment crashing over him, young Steve turned and ran, his dreams slipping away with every step. Now all grown up, Steve steps onto the stage for his big singing performance. But as he sings, the judges clearly aren't impressed. Disheartened, he walks off. In a voiceover, he admits he still couldn't let go of his dreams of mines. So, he grabs a pickaxe and helmet and heads into a mine. Deep inside, he stumbles upon two strange artifacts. The moment he puts them together, he's transported to the overworld, a magical place where his imagination can shape reality. There, he builds not just one, but 3 homes. While relaxing in the third, a furious wolf named Dennis appears outside. Steve offers him a crusty old femur. Just like that, Dennis turns into his loyal sidekick. Together, they keep building, turning this dreamland into Steve's very own world. One day, during one of their adventures, Steve stumbles upon a mysterious portal. Without hesitation, Dennis leaps in and Steve follows. On the other side, they find themselves in a strange, dark dimension ruled by piglins. This is the domain of Malosha, a powerful and bitter piglin who once dreamed of being a performer. But after her father and the other piglins crushed her hopes, she turned evil. Malosha steals the magical orb from Steve and throws him into a prison, planning to use the orb's power to spread eternal darkness across the overworld, because piglins can't survive in the light. Luckily, Dennis comes to the rescue, frees Steve, and snatches the orb back. Steve then hands orb to Dennis, instructing him to go to the real world and hide it. Dennis escapes to the real world where he hides it under Steve's bed, while Steve is captured by Malosha. The story jumps to present day, where we meet Garrett, a former video game champion now running a small shop filled with retro collectibles. But Garrett's stuck in the past, clinging to his old fame, and now he's facing eviction. Desperate for a break, he heads to a storage auction run by his buddy, Daryl, hoping to score an ultra-rare Atari Cosmos console that could turn things around. But when he opens the storage box, all he finds are a strange orb and a glowing crystal. Frustrated and heartbroken, Garrett loses it in front of everyone, completely falling apart. Next, we're introduced to Natalie, a young girl moving to the quiet town of Chuglass, Idaho, along with her teenage brother Henry, after losing their mom. Natalie gets a job at the local potato chip factory, handling their social media, while Henry gets admission at school. The next day, Natalie makes a breakfast, signature potato pizza for Henry because it's his first day at school. While walking to school, Henry stops at Garrett's shop, where Garrett asks him if he is looking any specific stuffs. Henry tells him he is just checking out stuffs. Garrett then hands him a mentoring program for people who wants to win at the game of life. Henry then leaves for the school. At school, he meets the quirky vice principal, Marlene, and then heads to class where he proudly shows off a jetpack model he built himself. But things quickly go sideways. 2 bullies sneak in and snip a wire, sending the jetpack spinning wildly. It crashes straight into Potato Chip Company where Natalie works. After this, Henry is brought to principal's office, where vice principal informs him he did an extremely terrible job, crashing the jetpack in American potato chip economy. Henry apologizes, saying it was just an accident, but the principal tells him to bring his guardian to talk further. Panicked, Henry calls Garrett, who he'd met earlier that day when he stopped by his store. Garrett agrees to help. He arrives at school, pretending to be Henry's uncle. The vice principal starts flirting with him, but before he leaves, he says whoever divorced her is a complete idiot. He then takes Henry back to the shop. While there, they find the orb and crystal again, along with a note from Steve warning not to use the orb for greed, because danger is coming. Ignoring the warning, Henry places the orb inside the crystal, and suddenly, it starts pulling both him and Garrett toward the mines. At the same time, Natalie reaches out to Dawn, the real estate agent who sold them their house and also runs a mobile petting zoo. She tells Dawn she calls Henry many times, but he is not responding, suggesting that he goes missing. Dawn says her brother, Henry, destroyed Potato Chip Company while flying jetpack. She further tells her Henry is in mineshaft. So they both drive to mineshaft. Meanwhile, Garrett and Henry enter the mine, where Dennis is quietly watching. Once inside, Natalie and Dawn find him and ask about Garrett. Henry says he is his mentor. Just then, The crystal starts reacting to the portal, and then the portal to the overworld bursts open and all of them are pulled inside. After that, they all transported into the overworld. Meanwhile, Malosha and the piglins quickly realize the orb has returned. She goes to meet Steve where he has been captured. She frees her and tells him to retrieve the orb. Steve agrees, but Malosha threatens him. If he tries to do anything stupid, she will kill Dennis. The four are shocked by how beautiful the overworld looks, but things take a dark turn as night falls. They're suddenly attacked by creepy skeletons and zombies. Thinking fast, Henry figures out how to build in this new world and creates a fortress for them to take cover on higher ground. Just then, Steve arrives and helps them fight off the monsters. But in the chaos, Garrett accidentally destroys the Earth crystal, leaving them stranded with no way to get home. As morning comes, the remaining monsters burn up in the sunlight. Steve tells them that they can replace the Earth crystal, but they'll need to find a woodland mansion and the journey won't be easy. But they have no other choice and start their journey. Steve leads the group on their journey, showing them the wonders of the overworld. He introduces them to a peaceful village and its friendly inhabitants, teaching them how easy it is to build in this new world. But things take a dangerous turn when the piglins, led by General Chungus, show up and start attacking the village. In the chaos, Steve, Garrett, and Henry get separated from Natalie and Dawn. The guys manage to escape the piglins, while Natalie and Dawn team up, fighting off villains together. After the fight, Natalie and Dawn goes to find Henry and Other, but find Dennis, who can't speak but signs to help them finding Henry and Other. Natalie and Dawn then follow Dennis to track them. Meanwhile, General Chungus returns to Malosha. Malosha is angry with him because he has failed to kill Henry and others. So, she executes Chungus. In revenge, Malosha sends her terrifying creation, the Great Hog, to hunt down the heroes. Meanwhile, Steve, Garrett, and Henry make it into a cave, where Garrett tries to get Steve to show him where the riches of Overworld are. Steve leads him to the diamond mines, but Henry is dismayed by Garrett's greediness. As they are looking the diamond, they are fawned and attacked by the Great Hog. The guys escape in a minecart and use creepers to smack around so they blow up. The three escape just as the Great Hog gets blown up in the explosion. Back in the real world, one of the villagers, known as Nitwit, accidentally steps out of the overworld and finds himself hit by Marlene's car. Despite not speaking any English, Marlene invites him to dinner, and to her surprise, she begins to fall for him. Meanwhile, Steve, Garrett, and Henry arrive at the Woodland Mansion. The men go inside to create a distraction so Henry can search for the Earth Crystal. Steve sings a song while Garrett acts like a pro dancer. While looking for Earth Crystal, Henry encounters an Enderman, a creepy creature that can teleport. The Enderman tries to sabotage him by making him see Steve, Garrett, and Natalie saying hurtful things to him. While Henry struggles, Steve and Garrett are busy fighting off a Frankenstein-like monster riding a chicken. In the end, Henry uses his sword to defeat the Enderman, and as a reward, he gains an Ender Pearl, an item that allows the user to teleport wherever they throw it. As they're about to leave, the heroes are ambushed by Malosha and her forces. She snatches the orb back, and the piglins launch an attack. Steve and Henry manage to escape in a hot air balloon, but Garrett stays behind to fight, determined to hold off the piglins. In a shocking turn, the piglins' TNT supply detonates, blowing up the bridge and seemingly killing Garrett. Steve and Henry are blasted away, crashing to the ground. When they wake up, they're relieved to find they were rescued by Dawn, Natalie, and Dennis. The group mourns Garrett's sacrifice, but they team up to fight back against Malosha. Meanwhile, Malosha uses the orb to cast an eerie darkness over the overworld, unleashing monsters to attack without mercy. The heroes rally an army of iron golems to face off against Malosha and the piglins in an epic battle. Henry pushes forward, determined to reach the top of Malosha's tower and reclaim the orb. But just as he's about to make it, Malosha fires at the tower, sending him plummeting. In a stunning twist, Garrett, alive and well, comes swooping in on his hot air balloon and saves him. Together, the heroes destroy the tower and finally get the orb back. As they do, the dark creatures begin to melt and wither away. Malosha tries one last attack on Steve, but ultimately meets her end. The portal to the real world opens once more. The heroes prepare to say their goodbyes, but Steve hesitates, feeling that the real world has nothing left for him. Natalie suggests that maybe he has something to offer the real world after all. With that, Steve decides to follow them. In the final narration, Steve reflects on how things have changed since their adventure. Garrett saved his store and created a new arcade game with Steve's help, which has become a hit with the kids in town. Dawn uses Dennis and other overworld animals to boost her petting zoo business. Natalie started a self-defense course for kids, teaching them the skills she learned in overworld. Henry fixed his jetpack and has become more popular at school. The heroes all gather for a celebration at Garrett's store, looking forward to the future. During the mid-credit scene, Marlene excitedly announces that she's engaged to Nitwit, and everyone in the room cheers. Just as they're celebrating, Marlene's ex-husband walks in, looking confused. Nitwit then stands up, ready to speak, and declares, thanks to his love for Marlene, their language barriers no longer matter. Marlene smiles proudly. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more interesting movie recaps.